Thank you very much. Wonderful. We'd like to proceed with the program by inviting the team leader of the GOPA, from the COSME program, Ms. Diana Hendrickson Fleming, to do some opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, a hearty welcome. Oftentimes, we look at numbers that show up, and we try to determine if this is a success or not. Please don't. An invitation was extended to quite a group of persons. And why did we do this? The COSMES program, for those that don't know it, is here in BVI to stimulate small businesses. And what we have done, we have worked with different institutions that are involved in entrepreneurship development to assist them in presenting training programs, mentoring programs, and all the such. And some of you might have participated in one or two of these programs or even more. However, as small islands, because we do not only work for BVI, but we also work for 11 other what we call overseas countries and territories, oftentimes you have one thing in common. And what you have in common is really your resources is always stretched to a limit. And when we talk about resources, you have these business support organizations or government departments that are very small, and when it comes to human resources, they have a handful that they have to work with to achieve all their tasks, all their assignments, all their goals, all their objectives. And so it becomes sometimes very difficult for them to reach their maximum. When I also talk about resources, I'm talking about financial resources. Oftentimes you don't have the funds to help the small businesses. So the COSME program, although we are not a funding agency, we have been able to help many of the organizations and government departments that sit here with us today to assist you as the small business for further development. What did that involve? It involved maybe funding training programs. We just had a trade week with the trade department, and we assisted them with different training programs. At one point, the Department of Youth came to us and they said, you know, we want to do a youth entrepreneurship and make youngsters more aware of what is involved in youth entrepreneurship. So we worked with them. We worked with the community college, and they themselves, we have worked with the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Potter. So they themselves also were their capacity. We try to improve it as much as possible so that they would be able to give an opportunity to the small businesses and improve their services. Now, why this national consultation? The national consultation really came from 3 of your key stakeholders that were part of a study that we conducted. And the study that was conducted was looking at youth entrepreneurship in specific, but entrepreneurship in general, not just in BVI, but also in Anguilla and a few of the other islands, to see what is going on. What are the resources there? What are the programs that are being conducted? And we realized that in all of the OCTs, as I mentioned, many stakeholders work on an island by themselves. So when you have very limited resources, human resources as well as financial resources, it is very difficult for you to maximize what you can give to the small businesses. BVI walked away from this study that we conducted and attending both the trade department, the youth department, and the college came to this regional program that we had in Anguilla, and they walked away as one of the OCTs that said, we will try. We will try to get all stakeholders together to see if we can have this joint program, not in the sense of taking each other's program and running it, but establishing an ecosystem. And what we mean an ecosystem is where you get everyone to partner to maximize and do what they do best. So if you have a college, they are a training institution. So would they be the one to do the training? You have a trade department that stimulates small businesses, that is really the backbone of the economy. You have a chamber that has their persons working with. And most of all, you have youth that if you do not start with entrepreneurship from a young age, they would not be interested in entrepreneurship as an older age, because then they're already establishing a job. So the National Stakeholders Consultation, the objective is really to get everyone on board so that they can say, okay, we will work together, we will integrate, or we will collaborate with each other so that we can see how we can maximize our program. One of the training institutions or the training programs that also has been invited and will join us tomorrow is the eCamps with the kidpreneurs. But once the kidpreneurs are finished with their training, where do they go? So if there is a youth program that they can then automatically filter in, and after the youth program, they can filter into an entrepreneurship program that was also developed by the Trade Department over the years. This is what we're saying. Let's have the building blocks integrated in a system that you can say, okay, we are taking a youngster from maybe high school or even earlier and taking them straight through to entrepreneurship, to having their own business. We do hope that all that is here and the others that would join us, that they would realize the importance of maximizing your efforts so that you can gain more out of what your program is or what your initiative is than just working on an isolated island by yourself. I thank you for being here. And when I started out by saying numbers is not what is important, but everyone here, and especially if I look around, I think I see a few SMEs. I see the Trade Department represented. I see the Youth Department represented. From government also, well, a government entity, which is the college. And I see private sector represented by Mr. Potter and some others that will join us. We do have the key stakeholders. The reason for SMEs to be here, and if you have a friend, please call them and tell them they can still join us, is because oftentimes we as the ones that are bringing programs to you, we develop the program but never really get your input. And this national stakeholder consultation gives you the opportunity to also bring your input and tell us, listen, you guys are busy with this ecosystem, but we need a different ecosystem. Our role is not well represented, of our opportunities are not well developed or outlined. So over the next, let's call it day and a half by now, that is what we would be working with. And you would be introduced later to Dr. Brandon, that has really put a lot of effort into getting all the partners around the table so that we can walk away as BVI. We have not followed up with the program of Dr. Brandon and the findings on any of the other OCTs. And if we can walk away with a model, a best practice model here in BVI, definitely for the remaining of the COSME program, we would sell it to others. So welcome here and really roll up the sleeves, because it's going to be a very interactive workshop. Don't be fooled with this setting, because this is not the remainder of what the program would look like. So thanks for being here.
I would now like to continue and call on for some remarks by Mrs. Brenda Letsamtai, Director of Youth. Please, can you welcome her?
Pleasant good morning, everyone. I offer apologies on behalf of the Honorable Myron V. Walwyn, who is unable to be here today due to conflicting engagements. He has, however, sent his best regards and wishes everyone a successful workshop. The government of the Virgin Islands identifies the development and empowerment of young people through access to employment and entrepreneurship as a priority. The Virgin Islands National Youth Policy states, youth access to decent work and livelihood opportunities that provide them with long-term economic security and meaningful lives is its second goal. we recognize that along with the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports, the Department of Trade and the H. Lively Stowe Community College are also government agencies that play a vital role in the development of youth entrepreneurship. Additionally, we recognize that there are other private agencies that have also created platforms for this development. We recognize the importance of not duplicating efforts and instead pooling resources and expertise in creating a sustainable pathway that would best serve our youth entrepreneurs. COSME has provided much needed guidance and support to the government of the Virgin Islands in providing resource persons and experts in the field, and including us in the research project on the status of youth entrepreneurship in overseas territories in the region. The research was completed by Dr. Marcia Brandon, and in January, representatives from the Department of Trade, the H. Lively Stowe Community College, and the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports attended the regional workshop on youth entrepreneurship, a situational analysis and knowledge-sharing workshop in Anguilla. There, Dr. Brandon presented us with those results. There, we were introduced to the best practice youth entrepreneurship development model. And we were very, very heartened to learn that here in the Virgin Islands, we already had several of the components in place. Together, we pledged to work collaboratively to build upon this foundation and fulfill the process of developing a sustainable framework for youth entrepreneurship. A national stakeholders consultation was identified as the first step towards attaining this goal, that of gaining the voice of all the players involved and learning what is working, what is not working, and where the gaps are to be filled. Again, COSME partnered with us by bringing the expert, Dr. Brandon, to us to facilitate this consultation. I want to thank Dr. Brandon for coming to assist us, and I cannot thank Ms. Diana Hendrickson Fleming enough. She has been a consistent and solid support for all the work that the Department of Youth Affairs has done in youth entrepreneurship and other government agencies. Most of all, I want to thank you, all of you, for accepting our invitation to participate in this very important process and for giving us of your precious time to help us get it right. I look forward to open, honest, and instructive discourse over the next day and a half. Together, let us take that first step in developing a best practice youth entrepreneurship model for our Virgin Islands youth. I thank you.
We'll continue with the program and asking Ms. Korea Christopher, Director of Department of Trade, Investment, Promotion, and Consumer Affairs, also for some remarks, opening of this workshop.
Good morning, everybody. Really, I'm just here to endorse what I hope to be a wonderful day and a half of wonderful activities. It is a workshop, so we expect, creation of the minds to come together. As Ms. Brenda Ty Letsam said, Letsam Ty, Diana, most of you will get to know Diana very well. She is what I like to call a godsend. COSME, I believe, has been underutilized for several years, and we are very happy at the Department of Trade to call her a friend. With COSME and Diana and GOPA, lots of acronyms there, don't ask me what they mean. They have really given us the tools for us at our department to really breathe entrepreneur in the British Virgin Islands. And so for today, we are so very happy to partner with the college, and thank you so much to Mrs. Letsam Tai for inviting us here, because from the time I got there, I know our mandate has been fueling the entrepreneurial spirit. So it warms our heart when we see that entrepreneurship has taken on such a wonderful speed in the British Virgin Islands, so much so that I hear you're having the kidpreneurs tomorrow. I think that would be great, because I believe at the end of the day, we all want to be our own bosses. At least I do. And so we should all establish from now the tools, and we have it here in the British Virgin Islands. We have COSME as the headquarters here. And so it behooves us all to take advantage of all of these free workshops. Knowledge is power. We at Trade continue to fuel the entrepreneurial spirit, as we have just come out of a very successful Trade Entrepreneurial Week. Thanks again in most Cosme for being just a super, super sponsor for that event. Our activities conclude on the 11th of May. At this same location, we expect to see the halls jam-packed with all of the school children. So we're officially inviting you. The numbers are small here, but I see the cameras. So we're officially inviting the public of the Virgin Islands, from Antigua to Just Van Dyke, to come and support the secondary schools as they pitch their entrepreneurial spirit, and they are going to be able to speak to new uniforms and not even fashion alone, but being able to sell that product. And so we continue to say that entrepreneurship, I'm not the premier, nor do I ever want to be, but I know that he has said many times that entrepreneurship, that can be our third pillar. So all of us are working very, very hard to assist the government of the day to make sure that we help them with their vision. And we truly believe that if we continue to have meetings of the minds like these, entrepreneurship will be steady, and we will expect that the British Virgin Islands will be at the top of the head, and everybody will be coming to us to ask us, what is our blueprint? So again, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Letsamtai. Thank you, Mrs. Fleming, for inviting trade here, and I wish you guys good speed. I was told that I should officially declare the workshop open. God bless you all.